أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله ولو آمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون.
I seek refuge in Allah from the cursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. You are the best people raised for the good of mankind. You enjoin good and forbid evil and believe in Allah. Chapter 3, verse 110.
ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون.
Goodness does not consist in turning a face towards east or west. The truly good are those who believe in Allah and the last day, in the angels, the scripture, and the prophets, who give away some of their wealth, however much they cherish it, to their relatives, to orphans, the needy, travelers, and beggars, and to liberate those in bondage. Those who keep up the prayer and pay the prescribed charity, who keep pledges whenever they make them, who are steadfast in misfortune, adversity, and times of danger. These are the ones who are true, and it is they who are aware of Allah. Chapter 2, verse 177.
الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين.
Those who spend in prosperity as well as in adversity, and those who restrain their anger and pardon people, and Allah loves those who do good. Chapter 3, verse 134.
Jazakumullah khair. May Allah accept from you. Takbir. Absolutely beautiful. Next, you guys go ahead.
We will now be doing a flag ceremony hosted by the Venture 713. Color guard, attention. Audience, please rise. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard, please present the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Those not in uniform, please place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color guard, please post the flag of the United States of America. Color guard, please post the flag of Troop 713 as the MCC is the home for our scouting units. Color guard, reform. Color guard, about face. Color guard, return to post. Color guard, halt. Color guard at ease, audience at ease.
Jazakumullah khair. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to be, just before we begin, I just want to take a few seconds, intentional setting. And I want everybody to do this exercise if you can. I want all of you to take about 20 seconds to close your eyes and tap into your heart and ask yourself why you're here. Just renew the intention why you're here tonight. Just tap into your heart, close your eyes and breathe, and just renew the intention. Say why you're here tonight. And you're here to make that intention to get closer to God. You're here to be supportive of your community. Just make those intentions as much as you can, please. Take about 30 seconds to renew that trigger, so that way we are here with the right intentional setting. Please go ahead, do that in about 10 seconds. Excellent. Thank you so much for doing that. Again, you're going to see me more often here. I'm going to be the MC tonight. I do want to introduce our next speaker, Sister Mona Islam. Inshallah, Mona Islam is a member of MCC Executive Committee and chairs of Iqra program. She has a master's in education administration and is working on her doctorate on education. She is deeply familiar and involved in the American Muslim community on both the local and national levels, mashallah. For more than 25 years, she has been focused on positive youth development. Her passion for youth development started in her youth with the Muslim youth of North America and later evolved into a local Girl Scout and Boy Scout troops in Houston. She has a deep appreciation and commitment to Islamic scholarship and knowledge. I'd like to welcome Sister Mona, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon all of you. I am pleased and honored to welcome you all tonight to a very special gathering. We are here for the much awaited gala of the Multicultural Center, which holds a very special place in our hearts. Can we have one round of applause for the MCC? And the amazing work, the absolutely amazing work that the MCC has done. Compassion through adversity is our theme, and I'm going to hold back tears as we talk about this. It has been a very difficult time for everybody through the COVID pandemic. And tonight, I have a few moments to share with you. I will be going through what our COVID response has been, the priorities we have at MCC, and then my passions, which are women, youth, and education, and touch upon the very special culture and climate that we have here at the Multicultural Center. First of all, compassion through adversity. When COVID-19 started, we here at the MCC had just gotten our feet off the ground for barely a year. And honestly, we were all really disappointed. We had just started our projects. Here we are, we were enjoying this facility, and suddenly everything went on lockdown. And I know everybody remembers what that felt like. Things started getting canceled, everything was postponed, social distancing happened, and we felt a loss. We felt like, what is this? You know, what's going to happen to our center? What's going to happen to our community? And yet, it was actually an opportunity to show us what we were really made of here at the MCC. The Institute for Social Policy and Understanding actually did a study on the American Muslim COVID response. And the areas that they studied, and this was actually just February of this year, of 2021, and the areas that they studied, they found that as a community, the Muslim community overall in the United States contributed in 9 major areas. Those areas include, and this is during the time of COVID, we have medical support, food security and basic needs support, education, spiritual support, safety, supply support, technology and innovation, civic engagement, community and leadership, mental health, and economic security and support. Can you believe that under one roof, the Multicultural Center met the needs of 8 out of 9 areas, all under one roof. Can we have a round of applause for the Multicultural Center? 8 of the 9 areas that as a nation the Muslim community contributed towards, we covered them all here successfully. The Pew Research Institute recently has conducted some studies, in fact, they were just published last week, about what brings meaning to people's lives. What is it that is meaningful to people's lives? And they have found, the Pew Research Institute, as of November 23rd, 2021, when they compared things such as family, occupation, material well-being, health, they have found that community is now ranking among the top 3 reasons offered for those who are 18 to 29 years old for finding meaning in life. And this is across the nation. The Pew Research Institute is looking at the whole nation. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what race you are, what economic background. It's looking at this age category, and it found that community is what's bringing more and more people meaning in life. It's ranking higher than other areas. And we here at the Multicultural Center are a center about community. Another study, which was just published this November, 10 days ago, from the Pew Research Institute, which was looking at a difference between 2017 and 2021, the last 4 years, found that more Americans are saying community and institutions bring meaning to life in 2021 than they did in 2017. They're comparing with issues like freedom, career, health, family, and they're finding that compared to 4 years ago, community institutions are bringing more meaning to people's lives. Let's talk about the priorities here at the Multicultural Center. So first of all, the Houston Food Bank is, we all know about the Houston Food Bank. This is their most recent publication, and there's about 1 million people in Southeast Houston who face food insecurity. Okay, about 1 million people. And that is about 1 in 7 Texans face food insecurity. Here at the Multicultural Center, we not only partner with the Houston Food Bank, but every single Sunday since the COVID lockdown, that is since March of 2020, now we are finishing off 2021, every single Sunday, we're distributing food to anybody right now as we speak. The Hunger Truck team is out there. Anybody can volunteer. They're out there serving. This week, I believe, it's the Afghani refugees. And they are serving hot meals out there on Saturdays. Anybody can volunteer for this. We have all different groups that have come through. And they're out there along with the Mercy Clinic, the Mercy Mobile Clinic, which goes out to underserved communities. So give it up for the Multicultural Center on that. We want to give a special thanks to Peri Peri, Miss Bon, and Damasi's Restaurant for oftentimes providing meals for free or for subsidized costs. Many times people cook right here at the Multicultural Center in the kitchen, and the youth groups will go and cook and share it out that way. The United States Department of Health and Human Services has published 2 studies in 2021. Both of those studies have to do with mental health. One of them here from September of 2021 has to do with social isolation and loneliness, as well as preventing suicide in the United States. These are the 2 studies that were published on their website. Now, the recommendations that they have, we're very proud here at the MCC that we are fully aligned with the recommendations from these publications. Let me share those with you. Their recommendations are increasing awareness about the harms of social isolation and loneliness across all segments of society, building a nationwide network of champions consisting of individuals and community-based organizations committed to combating social isolation and loneliness, developing an online tool that matches people experiencing social isolation with community resources and technologies that can help them connect and engage with others. The Department of Health and Services, and that's exactly what we're doing here at the Let's give it up for the Multicultural Center. And by the way, this is under the Department of the Family First Center. Okay, so we have entire departments committed to these. We also have, as you all see, clinic. And the Mercy Clinic has serviced 5,558 people of COVID tests, vaccines, health screenings, dental exams, free of charge for the most part. You could drive through. I know everyone here has probably come and gotten the COVID test for their kids or themselves or somebody. COVID test, get vaccinated. You can come on the weekend that every weekend the community where we have a team, have now a dental clinic. Give it up for the multicultural time. Another point mentioned in this study that we touched upon is that promoting economic security. Okay, here at the Multicultural Center, this issue recently we started financial service center. So there's micro looking out. We have literacy classes for women. We had webinars called Fat Wallet. These are just some of the examples of how we're trying to address this issue of economic. Give it up for the Multicultural Center. We have an entire department dedicated to education, and part of that department, during that sad time when we were all isolated, when we were allowed to go to school online, and at the beginning, that was a very terrible place for them, we had regular programming. Even if it was online, we made sure we met weekly, daily, for quality programs. That might be Friday night, it might be daily. We had a lot of offerings, and that's what we're committed to here at the Multicultural. Applause. Another area that was emphasized among those 9 areas is civic engagement. The Multicultural Center promotes civic engagement. We have what's called MCC Vote, and some of our accomplishments for that include that MCC was established as a Harris County voting center in 2020. At the general election in November 2020, MCC had a voting center indoors as well as a drive-through voting center. We conducted several voter registration drives during the Sunday food distribution. So that's another thing that happens, by the way, is we have all these different departments working at the same time. Sometimes we actually work together. So for example, when you have the hunger food truck going out, you might have the Mercy Mobile Clinic going out, because usually those people who are underserved due to food are also underserved in healthcare. And if you go back to that graphic from the Houston Food Bank, you will see that correlation. Here, as well, during the food drive, they were also promoting the voting, right? They distributed 800 plus voter registration mail-in applications. They conducted volunteer deputy voter registration training classes and conducted several town hall meetings with candidates. Let's give it up for the Multicultural Center. Some areas that I'm particularly passionate about: women, youth, education. The Pew Research Center. And if you're not familiar with the Pew Research Center, this is a research center that does nationwide international studies as well. This is a center that is studying people of all backgrounds. They published a study just in August of this year, 2021, where they found that women are becoming more interested in certain spaces. They actually had one about mosques, but what we find is that women are more interested in being involved. However, from my lifetime of experience, oftentimes you want to be involved, you go to certain spaces, and there's really not access or opportunity for you to be involved. What I have found uniquely here at the Multicultural Center is women have a higher ability to be involved than in any other space out there. Give it up for the Multicultural Center. In fact, if you look at our executive committee, among the 10 active members on the executive committee here at the Multicultural Center, 5 of them are women. They're not only working, they're making decisions, they're contributing, they have a say. It's 50-50, 50%. Let's give it up for the Multicultural Center. So, as I mentioned, some of the areas that I really care about, the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding really does a lot of great research. They have an entire study dedicated to reimagining certain spaces, Muslim spaces. So among the recommendations they have for youth, we actually are aligned with the majority of their recommendations that they have for youth, that they have for converts. We see that with our positive youth development. We have multiple programs going on at the same time for positive youth development, basically nonprofit, almost free of charge. If anything, there might be a tiny nominal fee. And yet, what we have here, for example, the Wheels of Change. We have the Scouts, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. We have virtual youth program, and we have community service. They're all engaged, and oftentimes are hopping one program to the next, choosing between programs. And this is one of the greatest multicultural center. Let's give it up for the Multicultural Center. We mentioned converts. We have an entire department dedicated to outreach. This year, they've done a great job where they've done foster kids. They focused on foster kids, on the college admissions process, as well as convert care. I cannot step away from here without at least making note of the very special culture and climate in this institution. When you walk in here, you will notice that sparkle in people's eyes. People of all generations, just like you see in this room, multiple generations of people walking through the halls, eagerness that you can't describe. That is something very special. It's a safe space. It's a place which upholds social justice and diversity and all those great values that we want to see. And so, for example, inclusivity, most of the recommendations for inclusivity in third spaces done by these institutes, we here are practicing at the Multicultural Center. There was an actual study done by the Institute of Social Policy and Understanding, done by Dr. Ihsan Bahbi, Dalia Mujahid, and they actually did a study about creating a welcoming and inclusive and dynamic space. And what I was really proud to see is all of the recommendations in their executive summary, maybe not every single one, but majority, 90%, we're already doing here at the Multicultural Center. For example, to create a welcoming space, what they recommended is to have non-judgmental, safe communication and media, socializing, developing friendship, signage, even simple things like signage that we take for granted. Signage meaning just the little signs that are all over the doors. This is where you go. These things actually create a welcoming space. Inclusive space where you embrace diversity. This is a space where you feel belong. Anybody can come here, any faith, any background, any socioeconomic. It doesn't what happens. You walk through these doors, you are welcome here. Improve communication, listen, recommendations. Also talked about a dynamic space. How do you create a dynamic space? You empower the attendees. Every one of you here is empowered. You can do what you want to do. If you have an idea, until now, I have never heard the executive board say no to an idea, not one time. Not one time. Anybody who comes to them with an idea, I have never seen this in my life, because most of the places, there's some rules, there's red tape. Cultural Center, I have not, that's been denied. They might ask you, where's your volunteer team? What's your plan? They might ask you that, but I've never seen an idea turned down. It says to recruit volunteers. That's what we're very good at doing here. Form smaller groups, meaning as an institutional groups, such as how we have here. Organize relevant and inspiring programs. The community center, which we do, which we do. And to say anything about beautifying this space, can we give it a round of the Multicultural Center? Have you been in a place more beautiful than this? Another thing I really appreciate about the culture and climate here is that we uphold values such as social justice, diversity, okay, respect for others. Some of the few examples that I'll mention among many is, for example, environmental justice. We have participation in the Texas conservation. We had, why is Texas failing as Black mothers? You know, racial equity. We have over here, we became most unified. We care about the handicap. These are tiny drops of examples of what we're continuously doing here at the Multicultural Center. Can I get a round of applause for the Multicultural Center? And I'm going to leave you with that, but I want you to know that the Multicultural Center is worth your support, contribution. I want you to be able look back, be able to say that I was really part of this great and amazing place. And inshallah, with that one, with the next item of the day.
Jazakumullah khair, Sister Mona. That was wonderful. I'm here to inspire you and to remind you guys about the blessings of the work that takes place in here. I should just, usually you hold, in the Muslim community, you hold people hostage to get all the funds, but I'm not going to do that. So inshallah. But I think when I look at this status, I'm originally from Detroit, and I'm looking at these programs and activities that is happening, not just happening randomly, they're happening based on data and research, which is very crucial for a community space. And one thing I was just looking at this work that is being done, subhanAllah, I was thinking about the Prophet. Not a person walked away from his gathering without receiving any sort of help, without feeling comforted, without feeling directed, without feeling guided. Like there's not a single person walked in the Prophet's gathering, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, that when they walked to his gathering, either a young man asking about his issue with his, dating issue, to someone coming in saying, I need help, I need funding. Every person walked into the gathering of the Prophet